let's talk about the Mont Blanc. How excited are you for the Mont Blanc? Are you excited at all? Do you care about the Mont Blanc digital paper? It's an interesting one because it's another large company seeing the success of brands like Remarkable and Supernote and thinking, hey, we can give this a go. And for me, yeah, I wonder, I very much wonder whether they will have that same issue, that actually probably they can make a nice bit of hardware, probably their pen will feel nice in the hand because they're used to making luxury items. Looks like you're going to be able to write nicely, but who knows whether that animation was really made, and that wasn't on the actual, that wasn't drawn on there, that was drawn on a professional writing tablet, I can tell you that, and then probably cleaned up. You can't necessarily trust this is what you're going to get out of it. And you'll notice in any videos that you see of it, there's very little sustained writing action in the videos. And that's, you know, because this will probably be, and I really want to try one out, and you know, I'm going to reserve my thoughts there. It's a charged, active, capacitive stylus with haptic feedback, which is what Boox have done in their Tab X C. It's not therefore going to be terrible quality writing, but it's not going to be the best, and it probably won't look like it does there. But I do like, you know, the different options you have with different pens. Really, I think this is going to be a lovely one. Somebody called it the Wes Anderson one. It does look like it's going to be a really nice bit of hardware. But you know what it reminds me of a lot? It reminds me of the Lenovo Smart Paper, which was lovely looking hardware, but then it just was terrible software that was just so basic and unusable. When you're used to coming from something like even a Remarkable, which has limited software, when you're used to that, I'm pretty sure that, you know, I really want to see a bit more of what they've got on the screen there. I'm pretty sure they won't have many options. You know, are they going to, from the get-go, have AI handwriting recognition? Are they going to have like linking, table of contents things? You know, so many of these e-ink tablets, they launch without even the ability to make folders. I mean, like, it's just so many kind of basic things that you would expect to be there aren't there on the start. And sure, I'm going to reserve my thoughts until I've got one in my hands, until I can see one. I put out a poll and asked if anyone had one already. I know some people have managed to buy these already. Well, luckily, at least there are a few independent reviews now, so at least there's that to go on. But yeah, my suspicions that the hardware would be okay, well, even that's not been met, but that the software would be poor and half-baked have certainly come true. But Voya has even found that the quality of the build, the leather, is actually not even glued in correctly. The quality of the build isn't meeting basic standards, let alone luxury goods standards. And that's a real issue when you consider that you can get an original Kindle Scribe, which has a 300 ppi screen and an EMR pen, for just 200 quid when you look on things like Amazon Big Deal Days. It's hard to see why anybody should buy this. And of course the answer is that the people that they're aiming to buy this are the Mont Blanc aficionados, the people who really identify with that brand. They will probably still buy this, and I guess that's what Mont Blanc are counting on here. And it also appears to be very close in hardware to the Lenovo Smart Paper. Not that there was anything wrong with the hardware of the Lenovo Smart Paper, but they've even taken away the EMR pen. And then, of course, there's the issue with this software on the Lenovo Smart Paper, which probably is from the same open source shell that this is based off. And although they've added some cute touches in terms of their design of the symbols and things, I just think it's going to be lacking in any real quality and depth of features. So it's not something that I can really afford to buy on my own. Kudos for those people who have gone out and bought them to test them out. I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. Excited to see another big player in the market, but if you've done your due diligence and you've shopped around a little bit, this is probably one to give a miss. Definitely look at my top 10 videos next, because I go through all of the top e-ink tablets that there are out there. And don't just take my word for it. I'm not just saying this myself. These are the top recommends from all different reviewers. And if you look in the comment section, you'll see people who are delighted with, for example, their Supernote or their Boox tablet or their Remarkables or their Viwoods. Look at these tablets before you just go for the shiny and the expensive premium seeming label. What do you guys think? That's what I want to think about. Very scared we'll see more USI stylus, yeah. Forcing the wobbled lines upon us, yeah. Interesting, eh? That's a very good point, yeah. I think that's probably the way things are going. I don't know whether it's a USI stylus. I don't think so. I think it's going to be active capacitive. I hope the Mont Blanc will be cool, but I reckon it'll just be overpriced and mediocre, just like the notebooks. Yeah, well, that's what they do, isn't it? I mean, it's luxury goods, isn't it? So many companies like Remarkable have gone away from the EMR. And actually, I was writing on this earlier, and I was thinking to myself, that maybe this is okay. Maybe I'm just so used to saying that EMR is like a gold standard that I just can't stop kind of thinking that. And we're kind of all the kind of agreed wisdom is that EMR is the best, the best, the best. But actually, generally, this is a good USI. This is a good example of a USI stylus. They've worked hard to make it good enough for handwriting. But yeah, if you've used a Supernote in your life, then you know how good it can be. And we just don't like that wobbled lines, and that's that handwriting that just looks slightly off. Eye-wateringly expensive. Yes, £750 there just for the tablet and the pen, and then another £170. So almost £1,000. That's £170 is for the folio. Almost £1,000. This machine is weird. 10.3, 300 PPI black and white with USI. And as far as I know, I haven't seen that out of being before. Yeah, that's an interesting one. So is it a 10.3, meaning it's probably Carter 1200 or 1250? But I guess they can put a capacitive pen on anything really, so we'll see a USI. Something I learned recently from the 7 Pens Discord is that the quality of USI is heavily dependent on the quality of the controller chip used in the screen. There are USI controllers that can be as high quality as EMR, but hardly any OEMs ever use them. It's all about what they choose to put in. Yeah, I really noticed this when USI themselves sent me the Android tablet, the Google Pixel tablet thing with the dock, and they sent me at the same time, they sent me the Amazon Fire 10. Both of them use the same USI pens, but the handwriting was terrible on the Amazon Fire tablet, and it was good enough on the Pixel, not as good as an EMR, but better. So interesting. Yeah, I think that, and I also think probably whatever the resolution of the touch grid is, probably got a lot to do with it as well. So yeah, the controller. We saw what wonders the T2000 controller did when it started getting into the e-ink tablets, the color e-ink tablets. The previous wisdom that you didn't need high quality compute components in e-ink tablets is definitely out the window. You definitely need those good ones. And it's about polling rate. So how many times per second can you work out where the pen is, and what line can you therefore interpolate between those points? That's going to tell you how accurate that is. Yes, USI actually is a function of the combo of the capacitive grid, density and quality of the USI controller and the pen. Yeah, absolutely. So I wonder who the Mont Blanc is for. People who, yeah, this is it. It's for two people, I think. It's for the people who already buy everything Mont Blanc, and it's like, oh, I've heard about these type of things, or I didn't know that exists, or that's just another Mont Blanc thing that I'm going to buy. Or for people, yeah, who've heard about Remarkable or other e-ink tablets and just think, wow, gosh, the Mont Blanc, they make high quality stuff. That's £200 more, but I'll get that because I kind of trust that brand name. I agree. That's what it's for. And it's for the people who buy that in general. They're not going to be the people on this kind of stream. You know, no offense to anyone who buys it or is not on the stream, or anyone who's here. But if you're here, you're probably interested in the kind of qualities, and you're aware that the software is different on different tablets. Whereas people who buy that are probably just going to think, oh, cool, it's like a Kindle that I can write on. You know, it's like a e-ink screen that I can use as my notebook, and probably it will do that just fine. And I had a friend who asked, what should I buy? And I asked him, well, what do you want to read? What do you want to write? And he said, yeah, well, I've got a Kindle, so I've got loads of books on Kindle. And I said, well, just get a Kindle Scribe then, because it's not expensive, and it's a great screen and a great pen. And you know, if you want to just use a bit of handwriting as well, basically like a notebook, then it's good enough. And so for some people, that's just good enough. And I said, but I kind of bet that if you use that for a while, and I said, well, borrow mine. If you use that for a while and you like the handwriting experience, you like using it as a notebook, I bet you'll start wanting more features. So yeah, the Mont Blanc is probably a first port of call. And let's hope, you know, that what has happened to a lot of tablets, never happened to the poor Lenovo, never really happened to the Scribe, is that it started out simple. You know, the Viwoods started out not able to do much, and then they put a lot of effort into developing the software, and now it's a good tablet. And then there's the new Scribe, and of course I said immediately that that is a much higher price and kind of negates the big recommending point of the Scribe, which is that it is the inexpensive tablet. But the new Scribe is expensive if you buy the color option, but that's still cheaper than this Mont Blanc. So you can get an EMR pen, you can get a Kaleido-free screen for still less than this device here. It's true also that one of the big criticisms of the Remarkable paper tablets, the Pro and the Pro Move, are that they are too expensive. So this really puts that in perspective. We have a new player in the market that's redefining what an expensive tablet is. And I think this is going to make some of the less expensive brands that little bit more inviting, a little bit more of an obvious choice. And I worry that this is just a trend in e-ink and a trend in tech in general. My hope, of course, was always that as e-ink got more popular, that we'd actually see prices of these screens come down. But now you've got a £700 tablet with a black and white screen, which probably isn't the very latest generation of Carter 1300 screen either, and that's more expensive than the Kaleido 3 or the Gallery 3, which that should be the pinnacle of expense because it's the lowest volume, because it's the most niche paper tablet type. We'll see, but the e-ink market is certainly changing. Whether it's changing for the better, I'm not sure.